Why did these two get withdrawn?
Do what?
Why did you get withdrawn?
They just decided to not move forward with them. And you don't have to tell us necessarily why, but that's what they said, so. John might explain tonight, I don't know if you read that. Okay. Do you need anything else from upstairs?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Well, what's the latest around here, anything?
Not a, I don't hear anything, so. You probably know more than me.
Well, supposedly there's a county employee that may be in trouble.
From here or?
Like you said, I don't know. A government employee, I should say. State police are looking at something.
That's not good.
But all they do is look at them, so who knows? Anybody who thinks you can get away with something for any length of time is only fooling themselves. Because with computers and checking and double checking and rechecking, you get found out.
Yep.
I always said the penny ante stuff's not worth my reputation, and if I'm gonna steal something, it's gonna be millions.
There is nothing worth me getting than having to sit there and know 50 people's watching me go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Be a guy and have to go in there and have the communal stalls and bathrooms, it's like, You know that show that's on TV, Christy Knows Best?
Uh-huh.
That husband and wife went to jail for tax fraud or tax something or other.
Uh-huh.
And their daughter's been writing about how bad conditions are in the jail. And granted, it should be a bed of roses, you know, you should have to work, should do something, but I really think they give you food without mold on it.
He was asking, what was that? Around in the building or around. I told him he knew more than I did.
Nope. We're too busy, we keep our head down and get our work done.
So then he said the state police was investigating a government employee.
Maybe it was in the planning department that was fraud.
Awesome. Bring it. Well,
You know,
Maybe that's the reason why I couldn't find the guy's permit today.
you know, you really gotta be careful, and I wouldn't make that joke, just three of us here. Because once that kind of rumor gets out there, you'd be surprised how fast it goes.
yeah, there's no bringing it back.
You know?
Okay, man, that's slow. It's like, it's just now 6 o'clock on my phone. It's. So that she got here on clock maintenance.
Poor Deb, she's master, jack of all trades, master of none. Nobody realizes what goes through that department.
Some of us do, some of us appreciate it.
Yeah. A couple of years ago, they were talking about pay raises. Now, some wouldn't get them and some would, and all that kind of, you probably remember, huh? she leaves here, this place is going to sticker shock.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, who's gonna tell Collier to come in out of the rain?
That in and of itself is a full-time job, right?
Right. Have you been down south of town and seen that new development they're putting in? That farm, there, just south of the Walmart development.
Isn't that along the Haleyville?
I've addressed part of it.
Yeah, I don't think I've been by there since.
They have
this summer.
installed wells, and they are pumping day and night trying to lower the groundwater.
People think you can't fight City Hall, but you also can't fight Mother Nature.
No,
She always wins.
she always wins. Well, what scares me, Artesian Acres down there, that little subdivision that was put in some years ago. At the time, there was discussion about drainage. Oh, we've got it covered, we're taking care of it, we've got it finished. A few years later, the city had to pay to go in there and redo drainage because homes were flooding, the crawl spaces, all that kind of stuff. And we had to pay for it on our dime, the developer got out from under it.
Well, there's a reason.
Oh, I know a good reason. Gary Malady put in subdivision up there off of Lincoln Street. He was told at the time there was an erosion problem. We got it taken care of, we got it covered. For the next umpteen years, we were sucking out storm sewers and everything else up there from the sand that came out of that development.
And people don't think that we need, erosion control and
You're right.
stormwater quality and that stuff.
Well, Indian Creek Village, they're putting in the next section down there. They've been working on it for a year or more, trying to get it to dry out. You got one road down there that's underwater. And it hasn't rained, it hasn't done a darn thing. Where's all that water at? You know, the retention pond's got water in it. The new development's retention pond's got water. They dug it down below the water table. Guess what, people, you buy these new $300,000 homes, but just excuse the well out there in your backyard, we gotta keep pumping 24/7 to keep the water table down, otherwise your house will float down the Hayesville Road.
We talk about it, but it's sad. Sad.
Have you seen the culverts down there, how high up it is?
No, I have not seen that yet.
Go down on the high street, take a look at it, it's higher than
The Wendy's and the
the
Dairy.
Wendy's.
Oh, they're glad about it, I'm sure.
You know. I lived here for a very long time. I've seen water that day. I ain't never seen water before. Part of it was surrounding my house.
for it to push it onto other people, but, you know, sometimes.
Sometimes it's a matter of survival. They wanted us all out of there. I said, I ain't leaving. So I had a big lab at the time. He and I, we just sat out in the front room on the floor, flashlight. Didn't need lights, you know, we didn't need, gas, we didn't need any of that stuff. They were coming down through there, flashing lights and everything. I know we had looters down there, people snuck out, tried to take advantage of others, but it didn't bother me, because they knew I had Smith and Wesson protection.
Yeah, it's unlocked, you got in, never mind. I withdraw the question.
Hey, locked doors don't stop me, I figure out where it is.
Question for you, John. Question for you.
Hey, meeting's canceled, there's nobody here tonight, so.
The two petitions was dropped.
It always gets me, people wait for the last
I
minute to
made
show
it
up.
originally out, this is made out to Nick, but then I stopped myself from sending it because Holloway was getting paid.
Yeah, we actually paid his.
So,
No, there's, we are going to refund about,
I was always thought it was better to keep on it than later on.
even though we finished the winter labs.
Well, that how it
You know
was.
how,
So I kind of,
you know
he's
his,
still
Yes.
getting there, trying
you
to
know
get it
his
right.
daughters
Okay.
and his,
mhm.
okay. His catastrophic situation, I'm afraid, has, I think it's affected his cognitive remount, because he bounced around while I was doing this, 180 degrees, 2 or 3 times. And I'm afraid that he's
Do I?
You know, we're kind of tight
sitting on
for
top of him, if you met his license. Yeah, I think he did.
some of them will, I'm sure are staying in the field for
Because he
very long.
turned around, Shane, well, I don't want to do that for this reason, that reason. I'm like, Nick, we just talked about this. So anyway,
So, I wasn't sure how you
no,
wanted.
that's fine.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we can either give it to him or you can go
What do
ahead.
you think of the new paper?
You feel like it's best.
I'm gonna try it first of the year, so I went and watched it again.
It was for 800.
You know, who's buying what, who and how. But I've had a lot of people wanting to know.
Okay,
We won't worry about it.
okay,
We're gonna send him additional check in
We
addition.
used to do that.
okay.
I just, I can't put myself.
We used to go over and get court judgments and write it down and then pay it too. That made it a lot interesting.
I mean, I don't know stuff, but, you know, I don't.
You look at everybody who got arrested. See if one of your employees managed to make the hit list.
I imagine I would probably find out soon enough.
Or what?
I read the paper for the rest list.
Is
You won't be
it
able to
still,
hide it anymore.
I mean, it probably, like they say, it hits social media before, it'll hit social media before it hits the paper.
there's too many people know too many.
When I had my heart attack back about 6 years ago, I don't think I was out of town before it was up on social media. The big comment was,
sheets up here that if you expect to talk in the meeting, you will need to actually sign it. Hello. Just fine. How are you, sir? Yes, if you don't, you can't fit all, if the appointments are ready to be, then you can just say everything you wanted to say is the. Okay.
We need to get out of here.
What was that again?
He's walking Canyon Garage.
I have a whole bag. I have a bag and ready over here. Thank you for that.
Somebody asked me if I was free for the night, I said, no, I'm reasonable.
Max. It's at home. I can.
But over on the other subdivision, or one not the road subdivision. Yeah, one of those things underwater. The water retention pond they got down there still got water standing in it. Is that one still flooding? I think they better stab it.
I get down there tomorrow like that.
You ready for a meeting tomorrow night? Relinquish your crown? We'll have to get a crown for you.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He doesn't know that Eric's gonna give it up and give it back to him.
No, no. It's all Eric's.
You don't like it, you will, do you?
He'll be fine.
Yeah, as long as you're there to help.
He just has to relax a little bit.
Who's that in the white dress?
That's my daughter.
Oh, yeah? Getting married?
Yep, she's been married 6 years now, I think. 3 grandkids. 7 years. She's been married 7 years. Come to think of it.
Just remember, you were good to your kids. Well, grandkids rotten and send them home.
That's right. That's right.
Feed them full of sugar and give them a puppy.
I guess it's just gonna be you.
Huh?
I guess it's just gonna be you.
Well, it's only 10 after. It's early.
applications.
See, you got no shave November going too, huh?
Well, it'll eventually end.
I trimmed mine down a little bit.
I did, I took about a half inch off it.
Oh, I did too yesterday. Before I went to church, I looked in the mirror, and was like, oh man, I look bad.
I know now, I ate those few pieces, it's like, well.
That's why I was thinking, well, maybe Andy's been in fact.
Yes.
So, there even does, this is in support of opposition or certainly don't have to come up with any positive facts.
It's been a while, or
Out in there in Morgan County, you got bees everywhere, right?
Bring it back. Start back increase more. Yes, those are the check. And take it over.
Yeah.
I go through everything now and then.
Where you got me at tonight, Sandy? You behaving? Trying. How's Jason doing? Good, how are you?
Oh, Brian, how you doing? What are you doing? Oh, you do have
Oh,
one
my
there, don't you?
Lord. How are you doing, sir? Haven't seen you in a coon's age. Where you
I'm
been
gonna get
hiding
home and
at?
watch basketball games. It better be simple.
Hey, you have control over that, you realize that?
I do have control.
That's good. Jeff keeping you busy, Weber?
He is, we're doing plan number 5 for him now.
No.
Then our friends at Prairie are getting ready to do some more things down
Beaver stirring it up north, ain't he? Is he gonna get that approved?
I'll say this, what Jeff's done, he's gonna have the company now. He got one more inning, he said, and he's gonna turn it over to his son or get a check somewhere along the way.
I don't blame him.
Call it
No,
No, it's good.
I can't agree with.
Yeah, I can't complain. I mean, we're
staying busy, that's good.
you know, even the interest rates keep creeping up a little bit. Doesn't seem to be slowing down too bad. Yeah, I think, you know, not,
What's this?
a little slow down,
Yeah,
right? You know,
yeah.
catch my breath a little bit. How you been?
Doing good. Jason Maxwell, he's one of our county council members. It's Brian Munch, Munch Engineering.
Hello, it's me, Brian. Nice to meet you. Yeah, it's,
We will.
you know, it'd be nice to work a normal 40-hour week.
Yeah, that would be.
I don't know if that's gonna happen anytime soon.
Yeah.
At least attempted, right?
It's been a while.
Okay, okay. How's Jason? They don't have traffic, yeah. Well, they have to.
No, there's none down there. There might be one down there.
How did the heart test come up? Don't know about that.
Still don't know? After those other two tests, you still don't know?
Depends with the truck.
I was told to keep the clicky pins away from you.
It's getting aggravating.
No kidding. They don't. That's what it is. That's exactly, they have no clue.
No.
You're talking about the rest of the world?
Hmm?
Rest of the world?
I'm talking about Kenny.
I know.
They have no
I
idea
know.
what Kenny is. They haven't figured that out.
I had a question to ask him, I gotta think of what it was.
Yeah, we ready for tomorrow?
Yes.
What time are we gonna start cooking?
Oh, one probably. I gotta meet some guy and show him some stuff, some holes.
Patrick's chair, I
He
was,
was called and they asked
I thought I was next to you, I'm next
if
to
they could
Brian.
fire the
Switch, you do whatever you want.
He's probably in the field still.
For when?
You got all your corn out yet?
Yeah, we did last
You got so you got everything out.
week.
It's just back in
You got
the
everything chisel plowed up?
We don't fall till anything.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
Nope.
So you just wait till springtime.
We just spray.
Yeah, you can go spray water, I guess.
Beans are
As long as it's not our water.
Hey, did they get the well hooked up?
Yeah, they did that a couple weeks ago.
Expect to speak, you need to
They
sign
went into the
in
livestock
the
office.
sign-in sheets up here.
Computers in there.
Yeah, they've got, yeah, you got Wi-Fi right there.
A bunch of people about.
They come to my house. No, because of the way it hooks.
You can repair stuff, take a break.
Goes into the house.
We're done.
Was that just get that?
I'm cleaning stuff. I don't want anything getting wet right
Yeah,
now.
yours comes out, yeah, mine doesn't do it. Mine goes in underground into my house, and it's got a plate there.
You've also got older house.
Yeah, I do.
This afternoon,
No, I do. I have a much
drain
older.
head, I loosened up some stuff on it and hooked it up my truck and took it down the road.
Well, but for the wells we got.
Still,
I saw when you
still
took it
a
out, it's got a
lot
big
more to go.
suction thing.
It's
in there,
dirty,
and you tighten
dirty.
it down and it sucks it.
You're done, and you had a pretty good year, you didn't get stuck in court, some trying to pull it out.
I don't break anything. I don't break down the
It's got a
road.
plate down there.
What I mean, you had no time down in it. Everything looked good, have you trouble getting rid of it? Check out Benson Hole.
Well,
Dug down 3 or 4 feet.
There's a load on the truck.
Either you got water or you don't.
Jackson Township,
Yeah. You know, you
But
get out
that's
the
part of it.
yeah, well, we lucked out because last field we were in, it was running between 15 and a half. So we filled our wet corn bins up with corn,
52.
dry corn. And then we put both, we had corn on, well, one truck full, one truck had about it was good 3/4 of the way full. I finished filling it out of loadout, took it the next day, and then this truck will take tomorrow. It's gonna be open tomorrow, so.
Did you, report where at?
Shelbyville.
Okay, that's a nice long drive over there.
It's
That's nice old 70. How's your corn turn out? 200?
way
Do what? No, his mom.
in the fields.
They go put a
Now's the
pacemaker in his
cleaning
mom.
part. I was filthy.
His mom or something.
That's why I said I
I'd
did.
take a shower before my son. He usually takes spelling test. As soon as he gets home, he wants to take a spelling test. I said, dude, I can't even see. I got so much dust in my eyes. I said, I gotta take a shower before I can even see anything.
Oh, what's her last name? Her husband Fields.
Fields, yeah. Yeah.
Bye. You probably go back and forth to lunch to Gray's.
No, I don't need a graze. I think they're worth the money.
They're getting more expensive.
Yeah, yeah. The youngest one is only a couple years older than me.
Well, there was big space
Yeah,
between
great big, yeah.
great big space. And
Yeah,
then-
the youngest one is just maybe 2 years older than me.
Yeah, but one was Spencer's age, I believe, and her husband died
Yeah, quite a while.
long.
Always the last guy to get the profit.
Should have put a scarf on.
If it's the right
because it
business, I'd
looked
get
full.
into it and make it my own business.
I mean, buy high, sell low. Listen to everybody else.
Probably the only business when you take it to market and ask what they'll give you.
Yeah, no shit.
Hey, everyone, if you'd like to speak tonight, you'll need to sign up prior to the meeting. We have sheets over here for you to sign up. So if you'd like to speak, please come up and sign up.
And we had zoned,
Cooking a big supper for tomorrow night.
I'll take credit, but I'm not doing it.
You always take credit. You always take credit for that big meal.
and this was,
Yeah.
Over and slaved out, greased up.
It's a nice subdivision, the other section. I'm sure I got online, and there was a house over $1 million.
we should have,
The cheapest one I found was $500,000.
and so.
They're nice, though.
That's my problem with this, I never know what these
Yes,
are.
went to the National Farm.
Has, you know, I have to say, I'm very disappointed about what happened over there on, not Severi, Watson, there at the corner of Watson and
Did I leave a coat here last year? Last Monday?
Kitchen.
Kitchen. And one that Donnie Swigert put in over there, Watson is quite nice, but the one on the corner, I don't think it's finished yet, but it's one of those big, it's a kitchen and Watson, and it's a big, like one of those
having good
barn
crops.
houses. I don't really have a problem
do
with
that.
it, but it is
We got to leave
cheap,
1.37 acres. Now this is
cheap, it looked horrible. I am not big. No, those were the three lots, I think those were 4 and 5.
actually had green beans.
Along there.
Don't have green beans.
Have you driven by
Figure
that
that.
one? I mean, it just,
A lot of trucks.
I don't mind those line houses, I think they're fine, but this one's just. Oh, this? Oh, so they can do private roads. They want to keep the streets.
I mean, there's some hills out there like that.
Yeah,
And I had a chance. I got out there Thursday
the
night.
newer combines, they'll do it. It doesn't really,
I know, but it seemed like it would be, you know, you can't land.
as long as you're not, I mean, if you're not, most time, if you're not driving fast, hitting bumps,
Well, it's all contour frontage. So it's all,
it really, it doesn't, I mean, there's times where combine, you're like, man, that's gonna come over, but as long as you don't stop hard or go hit bumps fast, it pretty much, corn doesn't slide all that much. Now beans will slide sometimes.
see, I wanted to stop. I got there Thursday night, show up Friday noon, and it went till Monday. And everybody comes up to Germany, I'm gonna work on it.
Right, exactly. We did a couple in this before, haven't we?
Close on time, we didn't stop. I wish now I'd stopped, go over the combine. Asked the guy, the operator, how it worked, like,
We had done
didn't do it.
something there.
I asked people out there, nobody could tell us the question, answer this.
Not this one?
In the same family, but not
I know about his daughter, quite a bit about his daughter. She's very, very, very
I'm guessing
clear
by average
disease,
overall.
that muscular disease.
It might be a little more than that. Like I said, I didn't,
It's kind of a year with no more rain, we got that,
because
pretty
we had,
daggone good.
because we had several 240-some fields, and then we had, the lowest we had was 225. But we had a lot of them, 225 to 2.
Poured enough steps today.
Welcome to our November 13th Planning Commission meeting. The chair recognizes a quorum. If you please stand, and we'll say a pledge of allegiance.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
And prayers for Israel. I was listening to NPR on the way down here about Israel. Oh my gosh.
Next on our agenda is approval of minutes. Everyone had a chance to look at the minutes?
Yeah.
Corrections or additions to the minutes? If not, I'll call for a motion. Mr. Rumbaugh moves to approve. Do we have a second? Mr. Maxwell, second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next, approval of agenda. Do we have any additions or corrections to our agenda? You notice 2 of our items have been withdrawn. So, just to let you know, and make sure you saw that. If no additions or corrections, I'll ask for a motion.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Mr. Hell makes a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. We'll move into new business. Public hearing for vacate preliminary plat MAP 2301. Kevin Presnar on the behalf of FFCIC RM LLC is requesting to vacate a 2-lot minor plat known as Timberlake Woods Section 3, and then proposes a 29-lot preliminary plat known as Timberlake Waters. There's 80 acre, the 80-acre property is located immediately south of Cross Timber Trail and Timberlake Drive in Green Township, and is zoned RR.
Before I start, does the Plan Commission members, do you need copies of the plat? We got larger copies that might help.
Okay. That'd be fine. We have,
Bigger one.
we got small ones.
Okay. If you would, there's 2 different packets. One of the preliminary plats has contour lines and topography lines, and one does not. There's 6 of each, if you can do with one or the other, but the one without is a little bit easier to see the lots themselves.
Here, go ahead and hand that one down.
Here, go ahead.
He said he only made 6 copies, so.
Do you not know how many members there are? Sorry, that was snarky.
You can send these down too.
There you go. I don't need to file it.
Okay, my name is Ross Droplick, and I'm with Droplick Surveying and Engineering. And I'm here representing 2 different entities this evening, with the principals being Mr. Kevin Presnell and Miss Marva Green. Each of these entities owns the 2 lots, which is known as Timberlake Woods Section 3. Mr. Presnell owns lot number 2, or the east half of the back of the woods, and Miss Marva Green owns the west half. This evening, what we're asking for is twofold.
we're asking for the vacation of Timberlake Woods Section 3, and then approval or consideration of the primary plat for Timberlake Waters. This development started some time back with Timberlake Woods Section 1 actually being created and subdivided back in 2004. And then development started. In 2010, the economy, that was sort of tanked. That was around the time that it was tanking. And it was decided to sell off the back parts of the back 80 acres to Mrs. Green in Illinois. And there was an additional, I believe it was 5 lots that was platted that was Timberlake Woods Section 2. At this point, then, in 2012, for reasons that we cannot quite figure out, the back part of the back 80 acres was subdivided into 2 lots, both being roughly 40 acres apiece. Why we're uncertain is I'm not sure that it was required by the ordinance, but needless to say, it happened. So now we're coming in now, looking to further develop the property in the way that it was originally intended to be developed when Section 1 was first laid out back in 2004. As you see, what we are proposing is 29 lots. All these lots in Section 1, at the time that was zoned R1, which required minimum lot sizes of 1 acre. These lots in section, and what we're proposing is the waters, are all in excess of 1 acre. In fact, most are closer to probably over 1.5 acres, and some as many as 8 acres. The layout of the development itself is based on the topography. If you've been out there, Timberlake Woods Section 1, that was the old Green Acres campground. And I know when we did Section 1, that was just a pasture. It was just a green area, very flat, with the main lake or the pond being basically at grade with the field. Once we get back past to the south into what we're referring to as the waters, the topography changes dramatically. We start getting into a lot of elevation changes and a lot of terrain change. So the layout itself is based on the best way to channelize the stormwater runoff and the drainage to the 2 existing lakes. So that when you see lot lines, we typically have tried to follow the existing ravines as natural boundaries. So what we have proposed is that 29 lots. At this point, access will be through the existing Cross Timbers Trail and Timberlake Drive. Those are dedicated right-of-ways to the public. It's clearly stated on sections 1 and 2 that the rights-of-way are dedicated to the public. The streets, however, have never been accepted by the county for reasons that I have no idea why. I've heard rumor and conjecture. All I know is that back at some point in time when Section 1 was developed, I was there witnessing the proof rolling of the stone that the county was doing. But as far as why those roads have never been dedicated to the county commissioners, I have no idea. But the rights-of-way are there, even though the fee ground under the rights-of-way have been transferred to the Timberlake Woods Homeowners Association, and that's in Section 1. And when I say the fee, that is the actual ground is owned by. What a right-of-way is allowing the public to cross that property. So it's never dedicated to the county. County does not own the right-of-way. They will never own the right-of-way. But the county and all the public does have the rights to use the streets. So, so that would be our access will be the extension of those streets. The original Timberlake Woods Section 3 had no extension of streets because it just stubbed out, and that was where their property started. So there was no new streets proposed in Section 3. What we are proposing and what we've requested is that we would be dedicating a 50-foot right-of-way to what would be the homeowners of Timberlake Waters. They would be privately maintained roads. So we would not be planning on having them accepted by the county. All the properties will be served by individual septic systems. We've had random tests done out in that area. The reports came back that they are suitable for septic. The water, we have investigated with the water company, which I believe it's Citizens Energy Group now. So we are looking at the water, but we're also prepared to market the lots on wells. There should be no issue with getting a well. The current property as it sits, there is a lot of, the old campground is still there. And it needs to be cleaned up. That'll be done, of course. Other than that, I don't know, I'd rather it open up for questions at this point because, we've presented this staff has recommended approval. So with that, I just leave answer your questions because I think it's really a rather straightforward proposal.
What size houses do you think will go in here? And is there room for 2 septic systems when one fails?
I would think, okay, to your first question, the houses that we are proposing are, I believe, 1,700 square foot minimum for a one-story house, which is larger than what is required in Timberlake Woods Section 1 and 2. For a 2-story house, the minimum first floor is 1,100 square feet with a combined total of 2,200. That is equivalent, the total square footage is equivalent to that in Timberlake Woods Section 1. Okay, so your other question.
Septic systems, those lots,
Oh,
big enough for 2 septic systems with a well.
With the size of the lots, I would think that there would be, but we don't, those are rather large lots. So I would think that there would be. But until we actually see what the layouts would be, I'm not going to say that yes for certain that there are.
You say they've been, tested?
Yes. And those tests were submitted to the Board of Health, and I believe that should be part of the staff approval, I would think.
What's the arrangement for maintaining the streets, the roads? What happens in Section 1? Is that going to carry through to Section 2, the new section? Section 3, I'm sorry.
As far as the way that we're at current, we are only looking at setting up the maintenance for the roads within the waters themselves.
And so does each homeowner pay into a fee or something? I mean,
Yeah.
How is that?
I believe.
It's already set up that way?
Yeah, I'm going to have Mr. Roger Curry address that. He's the one that's drafted our covenants and restrictions.
Yeah, my name's Roger Curry, And my address is 989 North US 31 in Whiteland, Indiana, 46184. And I'm part of the petitioner FFCIC RAM. I'm the vice president. So I actually did a new set of declaration, covenants, conditions, and restrictions. So we have our own HOA that we will be setting up. And the members of that will be both the declarant, which will be the owners of the property, the developer, and then the members in the subdivision will be Class A members. And so the way it's set up then is they will elect a board of directors for the homeowners association, and we will make assessments for all of the common area, which would include the lakes, the 2 lakes, and also these private roads and any other common area that is there. So that will all be taken care of and will be assessed with the owners of the lots.
And so how do the two sections, the sections work together? This one section's already existing, and it looks like people are coming into the new section through that. So what happens because there's more traffic through there? Does somebody pay into that to help with maintaining those existing streets, roads?
There is no current agreement, and partly the reason that is because there was a declaration filed for Section 1, but that declaration, by its own face of it, it says that it is a Timberlake Woods subdivision, Section 1 declaration, and it does not apply to our parcel. So that's why we set up our own, but we will have discussions with them to work out any issues. But there's no written document at this point in time.
Do you have, or do you make any plans to rectify the damage that they're going to be happening to the first subdivision's roads when you guys drive over it?
We have nothing in place with them at this point in time.
I guess I would ask Mr. Peden, could they stop driving on their roads to another subdivision?
I mean, I think that's debatable, as Mr. Dropolik pointed out. The recorded documentation shows it is a public right-of-way, it's dedicated. So I don't know of any procedure you can take that away.
I'm just questioning.
Yeah, I understand.
It's come up before, and they say, I can put a barrier at the end of our maintained roads.
Yeah, I mean, the actual plat says that they can't. So I don't see that that's a possibility, but again, we don't anticipate a hostile relationship with them. You know, we're here to get our project approved, and then I'm sure there will be an equitable scenario that will be worked out at some point, but it has not been done at this point, to honestly answer your question.
So you're more or less saying you haven't talked to the people up front at all?
No, there's been plenty of discussion with them. There's been plenty of discussion with them.
But you have nothing in writing saying you can use their right of way to get back to your property?
Yeah, we do. It's in the recorded plat.
Public right of way.
Well, it's platted, you said it was platted private road.
No, it's public right of way.
It's public right of way.
1 and 2 is
Private
public.
right of way.
Public right of way is in the plat.
Misunderstood.
No, it's a very good question, and that's why we're here, is because there is a recorded plat that calls it public right-of-way, and it's for the purpose of getting access to this particular 80-acre parcel that we're here before you at this time.
I understand now.
Yeah, okay.
And I'll clear a little bit of it up myself. I know working with Joe and with John, and John was working, Joe's father, with Tony Hinkle, county engineer at the time, and I know they was asking for them to be taken in, but I didn't know where that all stood, and I know we had to terminate Mr. Hinkle, so he's not with us, and we got a new engineer in the last almost 60 days now. And I've got a note here, I'm gonna check with Justin and see where we're at on that project, and I know he's probably not even heard anything about it unless John has talked to him.
Oh, I know.
We did everything you guys asked us to do.
Yeah.
For you to take them over, and for the last 2 years, we've been asking for that to happen, and Hinkle, or whatever his name was, has totally dropped the ball with us.
Okay.
So, I mean, that should truly be a county road.
And I'm gonna be checking with Justin. I mean, he's our new engineer and seeing where we're at on it.
Buildings, structures, fences, shrubs, or trees shall be placed
The intention always was to take them in, I know that,
in approval.
whenever they did it.
The intention was to take them in.
What type of roads are you gonna put in?
At this point, we're wanting to have a private gravel road,
Gravel road
yes.
off of asphalt road with million-dollar houses sitting in there?
Well, just briefly respond to that. Section 1 is asphalt, but Section 2 is not. So we are wanting to avoid where you have asphalt and gravel in Section 2, and then we have asphalt. So our proposal and our plan would be that we would have the same thing that Section 2 does.
So what's,
Section 2 will be paved. I'm still up in the air if I'm gonna do curbs, only because I've had no response. We've had no response from the county on everything we've done, and it's very, cost prohibitive to do all that stuff.
Joe, we need you to step to the mic. We need you to step up to the mic if you're gonna speak.
Yeah, could you identify yourself, because I don't know what player you are in this game?
Yeah, I didn't know you were part of this.
I'm sorry, go ahead and say again.
We'll catch you in a minute.
Joe Hankins with JTH Construction. I own Section 2, and my dad and I own Section 1 with JTH.
You own 2 still?
Pardon me?
You still own 2?
Yes.
Okay.
And I've had some conversations with you, Terry, about drainage and stuff like that, and we haven't really made any headway either. The problem that I have with abiding by all you guys' rules and regulations on the construction of the roads is that for 2 years, we've been trying to get you to take them over after we did everything that went over the top, doing the rolled curbs, the paved streets, had, the best contractors come in and do the work, had the proof test, everything done, and we're not having any luck with you taking them over at all. Now, to Kevin's, I'm gonna pave mine, but I don't know it'd be cost effective for Kevin to pave his with the size of the lots and all the drainage ways that there are for that water to go to.
And who's Kevin, and what section are you talking
That's
about?
I'm sorry, that's
Mr. President.
Presnell,
the developer here.
the 80-acre
So you're saying
development.
that you don't know that it would be practical to pave these?
I don't think it'd be I think it's a lot of burden on the developer, and for the size of the lots to do that. I think that, if the gravel road is put in properly, they can let the homeowners, they're gonna build nice homes, we know that, and those people aren't gonna wanna drive on gravel roads, but I wouldn't wanna go in there and put, rolled curbs and paved streets in there and storm sewers. I wouldn't wanna do it. I couldn't make any money. It'd be a break-even scenario. I mean, it's like $1 million a mile right now to pave and roll curbs and storm sewer. And it just doesn't make any sense. And, I know that the kind of houses they're gonna build are gonna be nice quality homes. If it's a gravel road or not, it doesn't bother me a bit. I'm gonna build my own house in there. So that doesn't bother me. I'm not gonna see it. It's in, a wooded area. So, I would think at some point the people would get together and wanna do that, after the homes are built. But I don't see any reason myself. I don't know about you, Ross, but I think it's cost prohibitive to do that. It's nice, and it's nice to say that. And I don't believe one bit, and being a builder for 30 years, that it would detract from anybody up front. As much as everybody like to see that happen, I don't believe that would, and my house would be the very first one touching his anyway, so it doesn't bother me a bit. That's just my 2 cents.
Were you around when the first houses were built in that?
Yes, I was. I built 7 of them.
You had an easement on the backside,
Yes.
and you made all construction traffic go through a
Yes, and
dirt
that's been a
road.
little bit, we've got a president of the association, and maybe the vice president, if maybe not, James Onken, kind of did away with that. It's got trees in it, it's got grass in it.
But it
We're
didn't
not
then
even
when you
sure
built
that
the
legally we
houses.
can come through there anymore.
And this is a personal statement. I don't want to pay for a paved road as a taxpayer living somewhere else when they're going to say, I pay taxes and I want my road paved, and I don't want the $1 million a mile to come out of my pocket when it should come out of yours, in my personal opinion.
Well, if it's private, then how would it come out of your pocket or the county's pocket? It would come out of the homeowners association's pocket.
They can't afford it either, it's the houses you're talking
I'm
about,
sure they
in my
could
opinion,
when-
again.
When they get to that. I don't know they'd want to do the rolled curbs. I mean, I don't think it makes any sense with all the ditches. When you go to Deerfield, you go to Cedar Creek, Cedar Run, they're paved streets, ditches.
There's some options on that road curb.
I'd like to address that while we're doing it.
Mr. Ross.
I mean, that is not required in the county standards. That was something that the developer, when he did section 1, chose to do in section 1 that was above and beyond the county requirements. And quite honestly, for the front part, I think that it works. I think that it fits for what's there. But when we get back into the back, as I said earlier, it's the drainage is, because most of the reason for the roll curb and gutter is for drainage. It's to manage that drainage off of the street and not have a bunch of side ditches that have to be continually maintained. Where once we get back into the more rolling parts of this development, it's more suited towards swales and ditches and side ditches. And I don't think it would be near as noticeable back in the wooded areas. So the roll curb is not really, shouldn't even be a consideration at this point because it's not a requirement. The only requirement that I know, I believe it's 20, if it's a county-maintained road, I believe it's 24 foot wide with 4 inches of asphalt over 8 inches of stone. I believe that's the cross-section.
With side ditches.
With side ditches, yes. So that's what we're looking at. As far as whether or not the private road, whether it should be asphalt, whether it be stone, if the developer chooses to make it a private road, put stone down and can't sell a single lot, then he's going to have to look at what he's going to have to do to start marketing the property. So if the economy dictates an asphalt road, then so be it. Is that going to affect the value of the homes on the lots? Well, maybe it will, I don't know. But I don't know that that's a consideration for planning. It's not on the economy. It's on the use and the density, which this falls within the requirements.
Oh, Ross, explain to me, okay, I got a little confused here. You're talking about gravel roads with side ditches.
Yes.
All right, culverts under every driveway.
Pardon?
Culverts under every
Culverts,
driveway?
yes, culverts under the driveways, where it's needed. I mean, if you're on top of a hill, you're not going to have a culvert.
Well, okay.
But yes,
But you keep talking about rounding the curves, and you're throwing me off about rounding curves and asphalt. You're talking about gravel roads back in the back.
correct, in the back.
This other thing doesn't have any effect on us, right?
No. What's in the front has no effect on us.
Okay.
Those people to access Egbert Road are not going to be coming through Timberlake waters. I mean, there's no outlet. So they're not even going to see it unless they're just going back there to see what's back there.
Is there any idea of maybe buying some right-of-way later on off of Egbert Road going into there? Not Egbert, but Farhouse Road?
That would be more cost than what we'll have with all the improvements combined in this finished subdivision. Because of crossing the creek, Stotts Creek's at the very south end of our property.
Well, I mean, but you got this up here, there's property you can buy in the future, goes over to Farhouse Road, where you had to go back at the back, where you wouldn't have to go out the front at all. Plans?
Absolutely not. I mean, we're not looking that far forward.
You're gonna have a lot of traffic on the back half coming out the front road of it, I'm saying.
So, yeah, but,
Do what? Any other questions at this time? Questions this time? All right, thanks, Ross.
okay.
Mr. Parnell, would you like to speak? Would you like to speak? I said, would you like to speak? The mic doesn't always come on. He was already up there, right?
My name's Kevin Presnell. We own the property on the east side of there and have the other parcel of Miss Marva's under contract, subject to plat approval. Something Ross may not have been aware of, but we've already spent about 50 grand cleaning that mess up back there, that all the different sheds and porches and campers, way more than I thought was back there with all the weeds growed up and everything. So we've got it just about 98% cleaned up, got a few little burn piles and stuff back there yet. But anyway, initially we had looked at this property and saw the plat, talked to Miss Laura about the, nobody seems to know why the minor plat was done, but we were looking to possibly do some minor platting back there, which would have been gravel roads and such. I don't hear good. I've got hearing aids. My whole mother's side of the family's all deaf, and I inherited it. But I had thought Joe had said initially that he was graveling through there, and I found out different. So that's what Roger had said. We were going to continue that because it'd be silly to go blacktop and then gravel and then blacktop. But since I found out different stuff, we hadn't had we didn't want to change that plat because we already had to change it last month anyway and stuff. But we would probably continue that asphalt on. But we've got Joe in section 2 between us, so we got to work together on getting section 2 done. And I know they and the homeowner association would like to have the roads dedicated. I know anybody we sold to would probably prefer it. I will say, my daughter's here, she does our real estate. I buy it, my son does the excavating, and my daughter does the selling. But we've got probably more buyers than we have lots right now, and that was based upon going gravel. So I don't think that buyers cared. There's a half a dozen developments within a mile of us that are gravel or blacktop. But anyway, we don't have any problem going blacktop. What's not feasible is to curb that back there and stuff. But it's a different development. Once you hit that woods, it's a different area. You got the front field. It's a little more typical subdivision like you would expect to have around town. When you hit that woods, and we've even named it something different, we want a little softer feel, you know. And one of the other reasons for the drainage that way too is one of the things to our disadvantage, we got 2 roads to build in there. Well, as a development, you never want to build a road where you only have lots on one side. It's hard to absorb that cost. We don't have a choice here. But the good part for a homeowner or landowner is that both the drives go on the edge of the property, and all the lots are on one side and go down to the lake. So all the drainage, everybody's drainage in there right now just goes, we got built-in reservoirs, we got built-in water. The citizens' water, one of the reasons for bringing the petition in as it is because we can only control so much. I can't make citizens' water. They haven't brought it across, they haven't brought it across Joe yet to hook onto. We wanted to because Miss Marva would like to move forward as well on our behalf. So we brought it in with well, and of course everybody's on septic. All the front houses are on septic. There's no sewer out there. So we brought it in the way we could go in now, knowing we was coming in for a primary plat anyway. So getting the comments and things and seeing if we could move it to the next step. I can't control citizens' water. We would like to have water in there, but I can't. They don't want to meet. They want to do everything. Joe, you know, they want to do everything virtual. They want you to fill out forms. You can't get anybody to come out there and meet you. I can't get anybody to tell us. We know it's 8 inch, but nobody up there will tell us. So we'll get worked through it, but I don't have control of all the utility companies and stuff. I think Joe's already paid to have RMC bring electric so we can pick it up and take it on. As Ross said, we've done, as I do on any property, we've done preliminary soil test on each lot as we know it in there. And we buy a lot of ground across the country, and that's one of the first things we do to make sure there isn't any known problems anywhere as far as the soils. Usually, before we ever go to a property, soil scientist already knows if that's an area that's got a problem. Well, there wasn't a problem, and we know everybody in the front of the subdivision's on septic, so we don't see any problems there. We got plenty of drainage, so there shouldn't be any problem with the perimeter tile going around the septics either. So, and we're basically just going forward with the 29 lots the way it was laid out, whether it was 2002, 4, whenever it was. So we're not trying to change anything. We're just continuing on the way it was laid out initially. It would, you know, as I said earlier, I mean, if I don't know why the county hadn't taken dedication to the front roads, but we didn't come in for you all to do that because for whatever reason, they hadn't done the front. So we didn't expect they were going to do the back. But if you guys want to commit to doing it, we'll build 24-foot roads to county specs. If you guys want to commit to taking dedication to that road, I'm sure all the homeowners would love it. I know the Section 1 and 2 homeowners would love it, but I wasn't around when the original agreements and stuff were in place, so I don't know. And I think, to my understanding, is you all can suggest it, but do the commissioners has got to be the final say on accepting it, right? So there's only so far we can take it here. So with all this being said is why we brought the petition in the way it is, because of what we knew at the time and what was there before, what's there now. There isn't any dedicated roads, but like I said, if you guys want to commit to taking them roads over, I know Section 1, that's their main goal, and we'd be happy to help and oblige to make that happen. So.
Well, I'm gonna be following it up with Justin, our new engineer, because I mean, that's 2 years that's crazy.
Well, I think Mrs. Weigel, talking to her, she had done some follow-up this week, and apparently something was sent in a couple years ago. And now I'll let her speak if she's here, but what I thought I heard her tell me was that they lost the soil, the borings. Somebody lost the borings that was submitted or something. So maybe one of the reasons it hasn't went forward. I don't know, I wasn't here, I don't have a dog in that fight, but we are for whatever we can help and contribute doing to get everything.
I promise you, I'm gonna know by Friday what happened.
Huh?
I'm gonna know by Friday what happened. That'll give the new engineer enough time to dig around and look.
Yes, sir.
I got one question. And most of the county now is all blacktop. If you're gonna leave this gravel road back there, who's gonna take care of the dust on the front, people up in the front, on their houses, when the wind comes out of the south?
I think I just committed to pave it, sir. Are we regressing?
You started out as gravel roads.
Yeah, but he said he'd pave it.
Well,
Okay.
Joe is, with Joe paving his, but let's talk about that. So there's at least 6 subdivisions within a mile of this one that have gravel. And I guess they have some dust, maybe not. Depends on what type of finished stone you put on it. Some people, that's their choice. If they don't want to be in a place where there's gravel roads, they don't buy there. You know, it's up to the customer. Other people, like Joe said, he wouldn't care. Some people it bothers, some don't. But there's plenty out there that doesn't. Or there wouldn't be anybody buying lots in these places that are gravelled.
Well, I'm just, you said you haven't talked, right, you've talked some to the front people, but you haven't, did you bring up the dust and stuff like that when you was talking about just having a regular gravel road? Now you've changed it to going to blacktop. You're jumping too many things for me on this meeting to tell me that you're going one way, and you're gonna go another way. And I know you got this many lots back here, and what you said about some other lots about being gravel, there's not 29 lots, and people having 2 cars going in and out the same, on 2 roads every day. There's gonna be 54 cars going out. Every house has two cars. That's gonna be a lot of dust on those roads, unless you go make it countywide right up front, right? For approved 24-foot wide with the up front, right, when you first draw it in there, right?
First what?
You drawing,
Section 1 is
Section 1, I'm talking about Section 2.
I know section 1 is the county standards. I don't know what the top code is. I know the base was tested.
Talking about section 2, the new section, nothing to do with the old section. I'm talking about section 2.
Section 3, then.
I'm not the one doing section 2, sir.
Section 2's between there,
Section
Bill.
2 is the other one.
All right.
Section 3 here they're looking at. It's called something
Section-
totally
So you
different.
know the base on section 1 was done, Larry did it, or we
Yeah,
had
Larry
somebody?
did it, because I was out there with him a couple of
Okay.
times. So,
That helps right there for me. We're gonna get to the bottom of it.
yeah, I was out there, Kenny, a couple of times with Larry. So,
Oh, I heard Kevin say that,
yeah,
yeah.
we heard you. Any other questions for Mr. President? You got anything else you'd like to comment on, sir? Anything else?
I think
Any
that's good.
questions?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Curry, have you got anything else you'd like to say?
Not this time, additional questions. I think I would say Kevin explained very well, you know, why we can't really come forward. And I know Mr. Mitchell thinks we're flip-flopping, but when you have one section, where they want it to be taken over by the county, but it's not. You have section 2, it's a gravel road, and they say they will bring it up to standards, and Mr. Presnell said, if all that happens, we're happy to do that. But while we're here tonight for this particular plat, it was approved by the staff for a private road, and so we would ask that it be approved as they did, and we'll go forward, we'll see what happens. And I think Mr. Hale will have advanced the ball by Friday to where we may be able to get more closure when we come back for a final plat. So I would just leave that comment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We're going to now.
Read that or not, but in your back part of your packet, it's been through, which you're on it, it's been through tech committee and stuff, and they all agreed that it was in compliance and give their recommendation on it, so in case you hadn't got that far back into your
We haven't got to that part yet, so. Okay. We'll move on to persons in opposition. Ms. Wagle?
Hello, I'm Lindsay Weigel. I am the secretary of the HOA of Timberlake Woods. And we've been looking into the UDO with regards to this new subdivision being put in. And according to the UDO, if a subdivision has 50 or more residential units, there shall be 2 separate entrances. And so we are asking that the plat be reduced by 12 lots so that the entrance off Egbert onto Timberlake Drive only services 49 lots. Section 1 has 25 lots, Section 2 is 7 lots, and right now Section 3 is being proposed with 29 lots. And we are asking that that be reduced down to 17. We understand that the new subdivision is not a part of Timberlake Woods, but since the 2 subdivisions will share a single access point, we asked the Planning Commission to regard the whole development as one subdivision with regards to the requirement of 2 separate entrances. Because if there are 50 or more residential units, it's going to greatly impact the traffic at Egbert and Timberlake, as well as Timberlake Drive and Cross Timbers Trail. We also would like to know if there was a traffic impact study done. Due to the nature of the development, we ask that a traffic impact study Tier 1 be performed if the number of lots is to remain above 50 for the whole development. Additionally, we asked the Planning Commission to require the developer to construct and install a system of water mains, including fire hydrants, and be connected to the public water supply. Public water is available in Section 1 and will be available in Section 2. Even if Section 2 does not extend water mains soon, public water is available within 300 feet of the proposed subdivision, currently via Lot 9 of Section 1. Section 1 and Timberlake waters are only 249 feet apart in this area. Thus, there's no reason to have wells when public water is available. We are also asking the Planning Commission to deny the request of the waiver for the roads to be constructed or to be dedicated not as public roads. The waiver will in fact be injurious to the property owners of Timberlake Woods Section 1 because the Timberlake Woods, as mentioned earlier, HOA were currently maintaining all expenses of the public roadways. And should the Planning Commission grant that waiver to Section 3, it's anticipated that the county would not accept the dedication of Section 1. Further, it's important to us the same infrastructure is present throughout the development, thereby protecting our property values of our current and future homeowners. There is no practical difficulty or unique condition of the land that would prevent the installation of a roadway to meet county standards and eventual dedication as a proposed development should be able to do that. While Section 1 is currently maintained privately, the HOA, as mentioned before, would like to petition the county in coordination with the 2 other sections for dedication once the roads are complete. Timberlake Woods was developed with anticipation of turning the roadways over to the county once complete, regardless of who maintains the roadways right now. The request to waive the public roadway standard is more than a minimal deviation from the UDO. The public infrastructure is necessary for the protection of households in this area, providing safe transit for homeowners as well as public emergency service vehicles such as EMS, fire, and police emergency services. Further, the county has commonly accepted the maintenance of roadways and subdivisions of similar size, similar topography, and in the same area as Timberlake Woods / Waters. As such, the roadways surrounding Paradise Lakes and the roadways surrounding Lake Edgewood. Not only is this waiver inconsistent with the Planning Commission's duties to promote safety and public welfare, but it's also inconsistent with its past practices. So we would like to stand that you guys do not, or that you deny that waiver. It is our understanding from conversations with the developer that they are requesting this waiver and planning to develop without public water because they are uncertain when and if these developments will occur in Section 2. If the water and roads are contingent on what development occurs in Section 2, then we ask the Planning Commission to not approve the plat until the infrastructure improvements are finalized for Section 2. Section 2 executed and recorded the plat before constructing the required infrastructure improvements. It is unknown how that was allowed to occur. Moreover, the Planning Commission did not require the developer to provide any maintenance surety funds to the county for Section 2. The Timberlake Wood HOA respectfully requests the Planning Commission to consider halting any further development, building, and/or sale of lots in Section 2 or 3 until the developer of Section 2 either deposits a surety for Section 2 or completes the infrastructure improvements. The Timberlake Wood HOA believes that the Planning Commission overlooked this issue when it recorded the plat for Section 2 and we urge the Planning Commission to rectify this oversight and assure the residents of Timberlake Woods Section 1 that the Planning Commission has a commitment to uphold the UDO. Therefore, as a means of goodwill to the Timberlake Woods Section 1 residents, due to this oversight, we petition the county to accept dedication of Section 1's roadways prior to the completion of Section 2 or 3, and we ask that the requirement of a cul-de-sac be waived potentially for this to occur. And we also would respectfully like to ask that the county help assist us in obtaining core samples and sewer cam footage to ensure that our roads are at the county standard. It's our understanding that the core samples were drilled in 2022, but due to personnel turnover, these samples were lost in the system. And as a means of goodwill, we would like to try to partner with the county to understand what happened and work with the county to get the appropriate requirements in place to dedicate our roads over to the county. We feel that if the county is responsible for Section 1's roads, then the residents of Timberlake Woods will feel more assured that the county is going to provide adequate oversight to Section 2's road development as a protective measure in the UDO were neglected originally in the plat. Thank you.
Any questions? None? All right, thank you. No. James Oinken? Is that correct? Oinken? Yep, I'm good. You're good? Okay. Jim Dungan? You're good? Robin Thompson? Ted Sims? Is this Pam Hitchcock or Don? Don Hitchcock? Sorry. Gene Voiles? Do you like talk? You pass?
Brigal, I believe. Mhm. Caleb? Is there Caleb Brigal?
Caleb Briegel? Right, I'll pass. Joseph Howard? Jason Thompson?
Just one main concern. I appreciate that they're using natural waterways to drain and using that in the lakes, but that still doesn't resolve it. It claims a 1% floodplain on the underside of the bluff near the creek, and that creek also goes into low land areas near Fire Station Road that have flooded a lot more than once in 100 years. And anything we pave, anything we roof, anything we do is only going to increase that. So unless there's going to be some kind of something to keep the water in those lakes, that's only going to make that worse. So it's just a concern in that area.
Thank you. Kevin Williams? Liberty Arnold? Joe Hankins, he's already left. That's it? That's all we got? Oh, we got another one. Derek Jackson? Virginia Keller? Hi.
I'm a resident of Maple Grove Road. We're across the creek from the development. And I wonder what impact this is going to have on the fire station and them getting back in there too.
Okay.
Really, our fire station is busy all the time. So it's a.
That's Green Township, correct?
Yeah.
That's volunteer?
Well, no, some is paid, I think.
Partly paid?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think partly.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. That's all we have signed up to speak. Mr. Droplik, would you like a rebuttal?
As far as the question about the drainage and the floodplain, all of the water, all the street runoff would be directed towards the ponds with the freeboard or the existing lakes. With the freeboard of the existing lakes, adding, more than sufficient storage for the size of those lakes.
Which you'll have to submit a drainage plan.
Correct.
Yeah, which we'll look at all that.
So, I mean, the only other additional runoff that would be created would be just residential on those last few lots that would be below the road. So I don't see that that would be a great impact. As far as fire, the fire department was notified of the plan, so I don't know if they give any comments at all. Mr. Presnell has agreed to construct these roads to county road specification. So that resolves the traffic concern. Other than that, like I said, we have staff's approval based on a private road. So I would assume staff would approve a public road. So, you know, with that, I don't know that, unless there's other questions that we need to address, I think that we've, you know, satisfied what the requirements are.
The 100-year flood zone, it drops off pretty quick, that quick creek back there, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Yeah. And it's actually, the 100-year flow is shown on the one drawing shaded.
On this one I have, yeah.
Yes. And that is actually measured to the existing contour, so that is an actual accurate depiction of the floodplain.
It's been a while since I've been back there, I couldn't remember.
Does anyone have any comment? I'm sorry, I missed your name. She brought up the idea that city water, public water, is within 300 feet of the proposed development, although Mr. Presnell told us they weren't getting any reaction from the whoever provides the water out there.
Citizens
speak to that?
Citizens is very difficult to deal with as far as even getting someone to give us what their construction standards are. We do know that at the end of section 1 along both streets, there's 8-inch water main, which is sufficient for fire protection. So we know that it's to there. But as far as the extension of it, we've reached out to citizens, and we will again be reaching out to citizens as well. But if they're unwilling to really communicate with us, then it's difficult to know which way to proceed. And I think that's the reason why that we would be looking at the wells.
Citizens didn't put that in, though, did they? Wouldn't it?
No, Citizens did not put
another
that in.
company at the time.
That was, oh my gosh. It used to be Morgan County Rural Water is what I think originally put it
It was a
in.
Brown
No.
County.
No, what was it?
Eastern Morgan?
Eastern Morgan
Eastern
County Rural.
Morgan County.
Eastern Morgan County Rural Water, which was a subsidiary of Indianapolis Water Company, which turned to Veolia and then now to Citizens Energy Group.
Any other questions? No? All right, thanks.
Yeah, and I will add one other thing. You know, I don't know what the standards, one thing that we do not want to be held to is be held hostage for what happens in Section 2. I mean, that's one thing that we can sit there and tell you that, yes, we would build our roads to county standards. If for some reason Section 2 doesn't, we don't have any control over that. I don't know what the Plan Commission does. I don't know what the agreement was when that section was platted. All I do know is that they're vacant lots. So you hold the permits. So, I mean, that's one thing to take into consideration. You know, we don't feel that it would be fair to keep us hostage due to a circumstance that we cannot control.
So if I'm hearing everybody correctly now, Mr. Presnell has committed to developing the roads in here to county standards. Does that impact the request for the waiver request to allow the streets to remain private? Because would the intent then be to petition the county to take them over?
I would see, or I assume that we would be withdrawing that waiver request. Yeah, why would we want it?
That's my question.
So yes, so we would be asking to have that withdrawn. And we would also,
Well, yeah, I guess that's what troubles me a little bit about voting on this tonight. Maybe I'm speaking out of turn, maybe it's
No,
not,
go ahead.
not time to talk, but since we've been a little bit out of Robert's
kinda
Rules
out
of
of
Orders
sync.
here, anyway, I'll go ahead and talk. It sort of troubles me to take action on this tonight until the county somehow resolves this road issue. You know, if they're gonna take them over, that's kind of a different story than what we have tonight. That's one thing that troubles me, and I'm still troubled by the idea that you're gonna have all this construction traffic going through this section 1 to get back in here over their roads, and there's no agreement in place with anybody to repair any damage or to help them maintain. I just feel like there's a whole lot of issues here, maybe not resolved enough to take action on this tonight. And now I'm really out of order here, but I'm just, you know, these are all the things I'm hearing. And I think we need to talk them through before we really do take action.
would a contingent approval so that we can move forward on whether or not to potentially close on the other half of the property? Your approval being that the plat would be approved contingent upon,
Commissioners take them in.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll discuss that during, a little bit later. We have options. We can
Yeah,
do.
and then the other thing that we would request when we get to the point on the vacation, if for some reason the county would, or the Plan Commission, we'd like that to be contingent upon, of course, eventually getting preliminary approval. We don't want, because if you just vacate the plat, we don't get preliminary plat approval, then we don't even have a Section 3 plat. So we would ask that any motion be contingent upon,
Contingent on.
yes.
Yeah, you don't want to vacate it and then not be able to move forward. All right.
Yep.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Ms. Parker, would you like to speak? Any questions?
I did. The one lady had brought up about so many houses, there has to be more than one entrance. I don't have my book with me, so, and I'm not recalling that. Is that a true statement or not?
Yes, and this is its own subdivision. It's separate and distinct from the other one, even though it's got a similar name and matches or follows what was originally proposed back in 2004. That was never platted. So we treat this as its own separate standalone.
Even though it has to drive through that.
Have we heard back from the fire department? And I wish they would have contacted us back. Okay. Well, this closes the public portion of the hearing. All right, guys. What we got to say? Floor is open for discussion.
Is there a way that we could postpone making a decision until we get some answers? Have a meeting in, say, January, where we have current residents having questions about future residents in this county? And I think we should take into consideration our present taxpayers to get an answer on some of these problems and the roads and things like that. If I'm paying to maintain my road and I add about 60 more cars to it about every day, I would have some complaints. And I would just like to get some answers before we make a decision.
That's the point about getting some declaration on behalf of the county about what may or may not happen to that Section 1 roads. I think, you know, definitely that needs to be resolved before we approve any or all of this. I mean, I think we've established that we would first make a motion to, and I'm not making that motion, I'm just saying
It's all right.
that we
We're under
would,
discussion.
that we would delete the waiver request because, but that may also be contingent upon, you know, the county's answer to what they're gonna do about the road. So I just feel like, my personal opinion is, I think we're probably a month away from having enough information to really move forward in a very educated way on this action. And I hate to do that to anybody, because I know what kind of work you've put in here, but I just feel like we're not there yet, and we've had a lot of questions come up that we probably need to resolve or get something toward, and you may not even be ready by December. I don't know, Bill could be right, it may take longer than that. So, just my thought.
Any other comments?
I feel comfortable we're gonna know something in 30 days. I mean, Bill's comfortable with 60, it's fine, but there's no reason why it's taking this long, especially if you've seen the base, you know it's all right.
Yeah, I was out there with Larry a couple of times with that base.
And then Tony would have had to been the one that did the borings in 22 that
I
got
don't know anything about the asphalt boring at all.
And we're gonna find out.
So if I may ask the petitioners a question, am I okay to do that?
No.
No, I'm not supposed to do that? Well, apparently we're not following the rules tonight. What does a 30-day delay do to you? What is it that what happens to you as the petitioner? Does anybody want to address that? I'm sorry?
To me, it gets me paid, but I think you guys are fine. That's what I would expect you to do, get that resolved. It has bearing on what we're doing.
Yeah.
Get to resolve.
Yeah, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Everybody, county's gonna take dedication to all those. We'll build this in respects.
Okay.
County as well too, so.
Okay.
That's what I would expect you to do.
Yeah, and then I just think maybe just a comment to the young lady who spoke on behalf of the HOA. You kind of have a couple issues going on here that you were requesting, and I think we don't have one of those on the table tonight to address. And so I think we need to address what's on the table, and then if you all as an HOA have other questions that fall within the purview of the Plan Commission, you should probably come back with those concerns separately. Am I on target there, or no?
Yeah, I think you're fine.
I mean, I'd have to go through and ask you to actually make a list of all the things that you asked us to do, because I couldn't get it all down quickly enough. And so I'm not really sure we've even addressed all your concerns yet,
Yeah,
so.
we probably haven't.
Yeah.
So. All right, I will call for a motion.
Kenny Hill makes a motion, we table this for 30 days on the vacation of the plan, and the rest of it on MAP-23-01 for 30 days.
We have a motion to table it for 30 days for our next meeting. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Melanie seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's tabled to our next meeting, which is the 11th. You're ahead of me.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I got out of line there, I just.
You kind of got off the track. Oh, great.
Oh, great points, great points.
So you gotta know what you're doing.
Discussion we need. so.
Absolutely. I mean, and if I were those folks living back there, I'd be really concerned by this. I would be very
Oh, that's a
concerned by
nice
this.
house.
I want to know what's gonna go on back there. And I do hope they can get some resolution from the fire department, because
Are we ready to move on?
I'm not calling Manny myself.
We're ready for public hearing for minor plat MIP 2312, Holloway Engineering on behalf of Gary Nicholson. Oh, Mr. Cragen is also requesting a two-lot minor plat on Cragen Road in Green Township. Property is zoned ag.
watch out, we might be grouchy too.
Yeah, please.
That's where the chief's gonna be building that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, let's do some money. Right now, he's out there on Bill Smith, but he bought this one. That's why it kind of surprised me, he's not responding.
Hey, everyone.
I know Jason.
Go ahead, John.
Thank you. I'm John Larison from Holloway Engineering. I'm here tonight on behalf of Nick Cragen.
Hey, everyone, we've got another, more hearings to go, please. Thank you.
Nick is the owner of the 70-acre parcel at 4391 Cragen Road. I've handed out an additional topo map for you that shows you not only the contours, but it also shows Nick's house, which he finished probably 6 months ago. There on the lakefront on Lot 1. The GIS information hasn't been updated yet to reflect that house. So just know that he filed for a permit for the 70-acre parcel, built that, and would now like to build a second house for his in-laws on Lot 2. That's the 2-acre parcel out of the southwest corner, lies just south of his lot and his existing house. So what we're doing is, whether you call it a 2-lot minor plat or 3-lot minor plat, it's 2 and a very large remainder is what we're doing here. These lots enter and exit off of an existing driveway off of Cragen Road. That driveway serves as Nick's driveway and will cross Nick's lot to get to the in-laws' new lot as well. Nick is aware that he's going to have to armor his septic line. The septic mound that services the house is west of that proposed drive that he's going to extend south to get to the second lot. So he will have to backfill with granular material of some type, and it'll probably require some armoring as well. So he is aware of that. This is a pretty simple situation, 2 large residential lots, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. We do have a maintenance agreement on the plat.
A maintenance agreement for?
For the driveway.
For the driveway. Okay, I was going to ask that question. So this may be an ignorant question that I should already know, but I'm going to turn things upside down and
Yeah, that's
so let's
crazy
go
anyway.
there.
Go ahead.
So he has a very large amount of property remaining. I guess this might be more a question for Laura than it is for you. What are his options going forward for that large? Can he come back in and continue to ask to divide off parcels, or that's not part of the UDO now? Okay, so he would have to come in for a major plat.
I have a
No.
question on that interpretation, because I don't believe.
It wouldn't be a major, correct, until he gets to 6? Yeah, he can still get 6 total.
But we're only at 2.
Plus
There
1,
is absolutely no consideration to build additional homes at this time. You can see that there's a major ravine that keeps you from getting to any of the other parcels. It's reflective of the fact that he doesn't have a plan to do that, but he would be able to up to 4 more.
Up to 4 more.
I'm sorry.
That was really my
Yeah,
question.
up to 4
Yeah,
more.
that was really my question. Okay.
I'm sorry, 3 more and a remainder.
Yeah. The remainder plus 2 more.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
yeah. He could come back and ask for it. So the house already built on 1, you say, John?
It is. I don't know how many of you have been up there to.
I've been to the lake, I haven't been to the
see what he's done.
house, so.
It's fantastic.
We've worked with him a long time for that lake, so. All right, any questions for John? Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Signed up to speak? So this will close our, Ms. Parker, you have anything you'd like to add? I'll give you a chance to talk if you want to. All right, it closes the public portion of our hearing. Floor is open for discussion or a motion.
I move we approve
plat request MIP 23-12.
Mr. Maxwell makes a motion to approve. Mr. Hale seconds. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Thanks, John. Man, I haven't called you up here yet.
You want to watch basketball, I know.
All right, we'll move on to public hearing for vacate replat RP 2307. Munch Engineering, on behalf of Shane and Michelle Smith, is requesting to vacate lots 1 and 2 in Hickory Springs subdivision and replat it as one lot. The property is located on the east side of the Dowden Drive in Brittany Court in Gregg Township and is zoned R1. Is it? Okay. Oh, it is?
Used to be.
Used to be, okay, okay. That's right, it was, that's right.
Thank goodness.
Go ahead. Brian.
Good evening. My name is Brian Munch with Munch Engineering, offices at 4000 Clarks Creek Road, Plainfield, Indiana. I'm here tonight with the privilege of representing the Smith family, who live up in the Chicago area and be moving to this wonderful county here shortly. They bought lots 1 and 2 in Hickory Springs. Hickory Springs was first developed in 1998 by the Dowden family, who also has been a long-time resident of the county. Over the time, it's not been a very highly marketed subdivision, so as lots come up or as people get interested, they'll sell a lot accordingly. In this particular case, the Smith family bought 2 lots. So if you're familiar with that area at all, when you come into the main entrance off of State Road 39, it's a cul-de-sac immediately to the right. As you pull in, both lots are very buildable as they are currently situated. However, the Smith family bought both of them with the intention of putting a house and potentially having the septic field move over into lot 1. Real quickly, it's a reduction in lot count in a subdivision that is been very profitable and very good for the county with the size of houses and the type of houses going in. So we're asking for the vacation and replat of Hickory Springs Section 1 accordingly.
Brian, is there any utilities between those lot lines at this time that you know of?
There's not. There is a platted easement for drainage purposes, but all utilities are serviced from the frontage. Yes.
I didn't know if it's utility or not.
No, there are no utilities routed through that.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Munch? No? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
You can speak again. Here's your chance. Okay, well, I'm going to close the public portion of the hearing. Floor is open to discussion and/or a motion.
Kenny Hale makes a motion that we go ahead and approve the vacate replat RP-23-07.
Do we have a second? Mr. Maxwell. Michelle, did you want a second? Michelle gets this one.
Everybody gets a turn.
Hand was faster
I
than my
saw
mouth.
your hand was going up. You're like, Jason would be. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Did you design this subdivision?
I did.
And I surveyed it.
It was,
Years ago.
I did all the
that was
work out there.
First subdivision we ever designed.
I think so. That was a long time
Monroe.
ago.
That's what I thought. I think I have friends that live out the Pringles. And
John did a nice job.
maybe where they live.
Mr. Peden, do you have anything you would like to speak to us today on? Not tonight? Okay.
I want to know when the county's going to.
Ms. Parker, do you have anything you'd like to speak to us about tonight?
We're working on it.
Hey, I've been at commissioner meetings, it takes months to get a county street dedicated, so.
I mean, if we already know the base, Larry and Terry knows that was done, and then Tony did the borings and lost them, there's no,
Yeah, I can't tell you about the borings. I do know the base,
We got a new engineer, and he's gonna wanna do his own investigation.
oh, I know that, I'm gonna be talking to him in the morning.
He's already been in touch with the homeowners association, he's emailed, he copied me on that email correspondence with her, so they know what they need to do in
Yeah.
Right.
But if we lost the borings, it's on us.
You see, I didn't know they did any boring, Skinny. I don't know. I do know the base was tested. I do know that.
And if they don't,
If they
then,
don't, we'll just push it off till the next
is
month.
that the only thing we have on an agenda for
Bonus,
next month?
because what will be your first step on that? You don't just
Reappointments
dedicate
and
the
stuff.
road, do you? You'll have to,
As long as the engineer signs off on it, I mean, as long as the borings and everything's there, we're gonna go back and see if Tony did, who did them, and then they're gonna have copies of that stuff.
I
But if
get-
Tony
so-
dropped the
so I
ball
guess
and
if you
didn't
have
do
it on- If
any,
you have it on your agenda, even if you don't have an answer on your agenda that you guys are moving forward with it, that would be pretty.
it's more than what we've done in years,
Well, that,
yeah.
I mean, I would think that would be sufficient for us, is what the commissioners are doing
Yeah.
that.
Well, there's no reason. I mean, we're gonna be able to find out.
But I think they were just honestly, I think they were waiting for the top coat. I don't think the top coat got on until 2 years ago, to be honest with you. Okay.
Tangled web that needs to be
All
unwoven.
we have for the meeting tonight. Mr. Keith, do you have anything to add since you're sitting here?
Don and
She's
Joe
right,
Bow.
commissioners don't move that thing. You got Collier there leading them, and they usually go backwards.
Our next meeting is December 11th. I will call for a motion. And a second, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Meeting's adjourned. Michelle did, she got on there at the one. No, wait a minute, give it to Bill Mitchell, he hasn't been on there yet.
Are they really? Dale DeClerc probably kill me.
Thanks, everyone.
I don't know. When would you have to declare? When would you have to declare?
Oh my gosh, Keith, it's been horrible.
I did stories
Yeah.
on his back.
Oh, they were using septics and 55-gallon drums and everything else out there.
Darn well.
That was a
Democratic
trailer
woman
park that
would have a,
had
I
anything
couldn't,
from
I
campers
lost by
to
81 votes for school boards.
I think they
Really?
They filleted me. They went back into some business dealings that I had and attached me to Julia Carson and accused that I was only running because that I was running, that I would
Yeah,
approve
yeah.
any tax hike
A
that
lot.
anybody wanted
A lot.
because I was.
They haven't even
said-
submitted the
they
drainage
asked
to me.
point blank, would you be in favor of improving the school? Well, yes. I mean, who would be in favor of improving the school? You know, come on, folks.
They did?
So-
Oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't start. I never start. If I start, it's Neverland.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yeah.
Bill.
It's kind of something I've always, thought I might like to do.
I'm like the president.
I know. I don't think they'd be too happy with it.
Oh, I didn't realize that was.
Thank you, ma'am.
Don wouldn't be.
Don would not be.
No. You'd be happy, right?
Oh, I love Don Adams.
I know.
Not me.
I do too, I know.
Madeline, you did a good thing. I was not going to.
I'm glad I asked that question, because you jumped out like a duck on a June
She
bug.
jumped on
You know,
it.
I was having trouble because the young lady did a very, very good job. She did a really good job of speaking, but I know, it's just my planner mind. I had to unwind that.
you out liar. You know how you can tell when the president's lying?
Well, I don't know, because I don't
His
know.
mouth is open.
Oh,
He's
I
Bill's
don't know.
neighbor.
Now, you know, they said they don't have anything. See that right there? That's the president.
oh. Does he have some like skeet shooting thing around his place? Do I? He did, okay.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Okay,
oh, yeah.
yeah. He sold that, okay.
Did he sell
yeah.
that, Kenny? Yeah.
Because my son somehow knew him and used to go out there and skeet shoot. That's the only thing I know about him.
You're
You
nice.
know, that's where you guys all have advantage over me. I don't know people really. And they don't know me.
Him, the Marvin, they're all.
When they built the first section,
Yeah.
when they built the first section,